We're going to next talk about why and why not people document. This is something that you may have thought of for yourself, and you may not have actually reflected upon it yet. So some common reasons athletic trainers document is for communication. This is within other healthcare professionals or within other athletic trainers. Additionally, they agree to document to monitor patient care, to see how patients are improving and to see what their status is. And lastly, the third main reason that athletic trainers said that they document are for legal implications. So ultimately, these are all important, but we need to be doing this to improve patient care. So we are documenting to be able to see that the patient is getting better, or that, hey, the treatments we're not doing aren't working right, so maybe we need to refocus or get a different idea or perspective. Some common barriers athletic trainers noted is a lack of time, and many of you guys may have said this, that you are not able to document patient care because you simply do not have the time. And this is something that a lot of athletic trainers come across. Commonly, physicians note that a large chunk and over half of their day is spent in documentation. So athletic trainers aren't alone in this healthcare issue of documentation. Athletic trainers also have a lack of accountability. So I talked about the idea of Medicaid and Medicare and how we don't utilize those two services to bill. And there's still a large amount of athletic trainers that don't bill for their services. When's the last time that somebody looked at your medical documentation? I was working with an educator in a post-professional program, and the students needed to turn in some medical documentation. And I was talking with them, and they all noted that the information that they needed for that de-identified SOAP note, that they went through and found what they thought was the best SOAP note they had written. And maybe that's something you guys did when you turned your SOAP note to me and your patient forms into me to be able to blindly review and see how your documentation was and how that stacked up. Did you look for your absolute, what you thought best SOAP note was, or the one with the most amount of words? Other than that, you probably have not had somebody look at your SOAP notes in quite a long time, and so that lack of accountability is a key factor for athletic trainers. Additionally, there's inadequate facility resources, so those mobile documentation devices that I talked about, or units that I talked about, or the ability to have a computer or an electronic medical record. These are all issues that athletic trainers noted as a barrier to documentation. Additionally, many talked about a lack of personnel. So there's just simply not enough athletic trainers at that clinical site to be able to do the job, let alone document the patient care that they are giving. But this is important. So we know that if we don't document these patient cases, we're going to have no idea how to prove our worth. And so when we start getting into a little bit more of the idea of any sort of technology or education, we have this thing called healthcare information technology. And this is something that is very important to utilize our electronic medical records in a form of meaningful use. And that's any time that you can use these records to improve the quality and care and reduce some of these disparities that we have within our patients. And so continuing to ensure that documentation is accurate and thorough is very important. Recently, $50 million from the U.S. government was put into healthcare information technology for continuing improvements for computerized records. So this is something that is very important. And there are athletic training EMRs that are available for you for either a low fee or no fee involved. So checking out some of the different platforms that are available are very important and can help you as an athletic trainer. The next thing we're going to talk about quickly here is third-party reimbursement. And the NATA put a pilot study out from Indiana, Wisconsin, and Illinois, and they were able to go through and see some of the ideas of what third-party reimbursement can do. And athletic trainers greatly undervalue what they can bill for. And so checking out the link that was provided within this module that goes directly to the National Athletic Trainers Association website is very important. So getting athletic trainers to get their NPI number and being able to show the amount of revenue that they can build in is a guaranteed and helpful way for athletic trainers to be able to show their worth. And as I said before, I want to reiterate this idea of risk management for you. If it's not written down, it didn't happen. And there's two types of risks. There's risk to the patient. So if I go and I do not see the documentation from the day before and I'm a different healthcare provider, I may not know that the treatment I am doing today is contraindicated because of what was done yesterday. And additionally, there's a risk to you as the healthcare provider. So you are going to be brought into lawsuits and will not have any grounds to stand upon if you do not have this medical documentation as a way to solidify the treatments and information that you did give to the patient.